Part 5 ho tayo sa day 1 ng week 2 ng impeachment trial nitong si Vice President Sara Duterte dyan sa Senado. Napanood nyo naman ho yung ating huling video, yung ating part 4 na kung saan nagkabuhol-buhol ho ang script nitong si Lotoc at ng prosecution sa pagtatanong nitong si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Pero bago yan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan at sa mga gusto sumali sa ating committee, yung join button nandiyan lang ho sa baba. Nakita nyo naman ho yung ating scoreboard, talagang namayagpag ho ang defense doon sa ginawang pagsalansan nitong si Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano dyan sa kanyang pagtatanong sa impeachment trial. Ito, reset ho muna tayo ng ating scoreboard para ika-areglado ho tayo dito sa ating part 6. Panoorin na ito mga kabayan. Yun!
The counter-manifestation of the Council for Prosecution of the Witness.
Hindi natin masyadong pinapakahaba-haba kasi doon sa thumbnail makikita na ng mga kasama natin kung anong mapapanood nila doon sa bahagi ng video na yun. Halimbawa gusto nila mapanood yung pagtatanong nitong si Ligutan kay Lotoc, makikita ko yun sa part 2 at saka dyan sa part 1. Kung gusto nila makita yung pagtatanong ni Risa Ontiveros at nitong si Bam Aquino, nandun yun sa part 3. Tapos yung balagbagan nitong si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, nitong si Amy Marcos at nitong si Lotoc at yung pagtatanong nitong si presiding officer, diba? Mapapanood yun sa part 4. At dito continuation ho ito ng pagtatanong nitong si SP ng bayan, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano. Panoorin na ito mga kababayan.
That's already answered. That is a typographical error from his point of view. Senator Judge Bam Aquino,
Yes,
then we proceed to cross.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Presiding Officer. So ito po yung continuation po nung tanong ko kanina tungkol sa general denial at specific denial. Pero bago yon, Attorney Vinluan, let me ask Attorney Lotoc. Kanina po, tinanong kayo kung bakit nyo tinuloy yung kaso, no? Why you continued with filing. Sabi niyo po kanina, hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling. Siya meaning the Vice President. Could you just quickly tell me, what do you mean by that? Hindi naman siguro siya magsisinungaling.
Well, the surrounding circumstances, Your Honor, at that time, yung atmosphere, sabi ko nga, galit na galit siya at madiin yung kanyang mga binitawang salita. At ito ay nagugat pa sa mga naunang event. So doon, nung winika niya, na wag kang mag-alala ma'am, sapagkat may sa security ko, sapagkat may kinausap na akong tao. From the point of view of the NBI, we believe that...
so you took it as truth?
Yes.
Okay. In succeeding interviews, I'm sure nag-imbestiga ka.
Pero yung banta sa kanya, hindi truth. Wala, hindi niya tinanggap na kaya niya nasabi yung kasi may banta sa buhay niya. Hindi mahalaga. Importante lang sa NBI, yung di umanong banta na binitawan niya para dito kay Marcos Jr. Yan ang problema. Tapos gusto niyo pagka mag-imbestiga siya, pupunta siya sa NBI. Diba? Pero dito pa lang sa pagsalansan na to ni Lotoc, makikita na ho natin kung saan ang baling ng NBI. Dito pa lang sa mga banta-banta na to kay Marcos Jr., kay Vice President Sara Duterte, makikita na ho natin ang bias nila. O doon sa mga pagtilatis ng banta may bias, tapos gusto nila sambayan ng Pilipino, walang bias. Hindi pwede yan. Kahit anong ipakita niyong ebidensya, testimonya, testigo, hindi na mababago ang aming desisyon. Sara Duterte ang aming presidente sa 2028. Tapos ang usapan.
Meron bang pagtanggi dito sa pagkausap sa isang tao na papatay kung may mangyari kay Vice President Duterte? Meron ba kayong napanood o naimbestigahan na pagtanggi nito in the succeeding interviews?
Yes, Your Honor. I think there was a video dated November 26, 2024. Doon sa video na yun, instead na i-deny niya yung nangyari noong November 23, ni-reiterate pa ho niya, Your Honor, in-admit po niya na indeed may kinausap siyang tao.
So inulit pa, kumbaga.
Opo.
Okay, so let me repeat my question to the defense. So far, wala pang actual statement si Vice President Duterte na tinatanggi itong pagkausap sa isang hitman. And for the benefit of the public...
Hindi kasi kumbaga yun yung assurance ni VP Sara na walang mangyayari sa kanya. Ngayon pagka binawi niya yun, baka biglang may mangyari sa kanya. Ngayon kung matino utak mo, yung tito mo, di ba, ganyan din nangyari sa kanya, hindi nagugustuhin ni VP Sara na mangyari sa kanya yung nangyari sa tito mo na si Ninoy Aquino. Hindi tatanga-tanga si VP Sara, okay? Sabi na nga wag uuwi pa. Sinabi na nga may banta sa kayong mga di ba, makakaliwa, titirahin siya. O di nga natin alam kung sino trumabaho sa kanya. Mapanggang sa ngayon, naging palaisipan ng pagkakagurgur ng tito nito. Hindi tatanga-tanga si VP Sara kagaya ng tito mo, ha?
Public, magkaiba ho kasi yung general denial sa specific denial, no? Ang general denial, hindi ko ginawa yan. Wala akong kasalanan, no? Yung specific denial, hindi ko ginawa ito mismong mga bagay-bagay na ito. Hindi ko yung nakita sa sagot ng depensa. So I asked the defense, is there a denial?
Kasi nga kahit na anong ipakita sa'yo ng depensa dahil nga bias kayo dyan, alam naman namin kung sino yung mga senador na bias. Lahat kayo bias. Lahat tayo bias. Kahit yung mga manonood dito bias. Huwag na tayo magpaka-hipokrito na kailangan sasabihin natin gigit na tayo dito sa usapin na to. Walang nakagitna dito. Ano lang ang usapan dito. Ika nga gusto mo mapanagot yung mga nagnakaw sa mga maanumalyang flood control, nagnakaw sa PhilHealth, nagnakaw sa mga ginto, gusto nyo mapanagot, kay VP Sara kayo. Ngayon kung ayaw nyo mapanagot yan, gusto nyo mamayagpag yung mga magnanakaw dito sa bansa na to, paniwalaan nyo si Lotoc, ganun lang kasimple yun.
That the Vice President actually spoke to a person to contract, spoke to a person to kill.
Para hindi naman umiyak si Bam Aquino, bigyan ko na ng 2 points yung prosecution. Collaboration nila to
The individuals that we're talking about, Attorney Vinluan, sabi niyo meron.
Your Honor,
Could you point us to where it is in your answer?
Your Honor, I just want to clarify because specific denial is a legal term. So in other words, we just want, in order to
Kasi
satisfy...
siya ka na, attorney, di naman abogado si Bam Aquino, nagpapagpag lang ng yan, ng pagkain sa mga fast food at gusto niya ipakain sa taong bayan. Yun ang gusto mangyari niyan. Kaya pagka naging presidente si Bam Aquino, kakainin natin puro pagpag. Hindi, joke lang. Magalit si Bam sa atin.
the query of Senator Judge Aquino, we will give him a copy of our answer and we highlighted certain portions thereof, particularly paragraph 3 and paragraph 197 for his...
Can you read both paragraphs, please. Because I've also read kami dito, binabasa naman namin yung mga sagot ninyo at siniseryoso namin yan, no? So can you read the two, please?
Siniseryoso para butasin yung argumento ng mga taga-defense. Huwag na tayo magpaka-hipokrito. Ma'am Aquino, gusto mong ma-impeach si Sara Duterte. Di ba? Gusto nyong ika nga makabalik. Pagkatapos trinabaho si Sara Duterte, ang tatrabahuin nyo si Marcos Jr. Kaya dito sa ano na to, ika nga, bumabalansi lang si Bang dito. Tanggalin si Sara, hindi tanggalin si Sara. Tanggalin si Sara, hindi tanggalin. Kasi pag natanggal si Sara, alam ni Marcos Jr. na siya naman ang tatanggalin nyo. Na siya naman ang bababuyin nyo. Di ba? Hindi naman tatangatanga si Marcos Jr. Hindi rin gusto matanggal ni Marcos Jr. si Sara Duterte. Ang gusto lang ni Marcos Jr. i-drag itong impeachment. Till kingdom come, ika nga. Till 2028 election. Sa gayong paraan, enough na yung panahon na yon para hindi mabuksan yung issue ng mga maaanomalyang flood control project. Sa gayong paraan, kahit na merong bagyong magdaan, yung mga congressman na involved dito sa mga maaanomalyang flood control project, hindi mayat-maya na-emphasize ang kanilang pagnanakaw. Ano to, isang napakalaking kabalbalan sa katalinuhan ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Akala nila, hindi natin alam ang gusto nilang mangyari dito sa isa na to.
It reads, the rest of the allegations in the articles, including the supposed evidence attached therein, are specifically denied for being false, misleading, impertinent, mere conclusions of fact and law, and subject to the affirmative allegations and special and affirmative defenses below. And then
That's Article 3.
Paragraph 3.
That's paragraph 3. So the rest, no, itong mga iba. Okay, paragraph 197.
197. It says there finally no such purpose contemplated by law was attained or could have been attained precisely because the respondent did not have any purpose other than simply answer a speculative inquiry. So that is our position on the matter.
So your position is that is enough of a specific denial to the allegation na may kinausap na hitman si Vice President Sara?
Yes, Your Honor, because we discussed in our answer that the presumption never shifts. It is in light of our
Hindi naman alam ni Boy Pagpag yung presumption. Hindi naman abogado yan. Pagpagan, magaling yan. Pero pagdating sa ganyan,
discussion that it is the burden of the prosecution to prove their claim, considering that according to our laws, he who alleges must prove. And so we just presented our arguments accordingly, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm sure, Attorney, sa inyong summation, you will argue this, that the burden of evidence has shifted. Pero hindi nyo po na take into account na ito mismo ay galing sa Vice President natin.
Your Honor, to clarify, the burden of proof is with the prosecution and not with the defense.
Aray ko. Yung tipo mga ganong klaseng sagot, sasagutin ka ng abogado ng defense. Yung magmumukha ka si Raulo, magpagpag ka na lang sa mga fast food, Ma'am Aquino. Pambira, gusto pa tayong pakainin ng pagpag. Si Raulo ka ba, ha?
In fact, Your Honor, according to our laws, even if we do not present evidence, if they do not overcome that threshold, Your Honor, then we believe that our client is entitled to.
So ang sagot po nyo, and this is my final question, Presiding Officer, ang sagot po nyo, kailangan i-prove ng prosecution na merong hitman. And you're not denying that the Vice President spoke to a hitman?
No, we are denying that, Your Honor. It's just that was our presentation in our answer.
Okay, so for the rest...
Kalman mo lang. Hindi ka tatagos, Bam. Hindi ka naman abogado. Mas magaling sa'yo yung bata na yan. Alam mo ano lang magaling sa'yo? Apelido. Aquino. Yun lang. Ay, wala nga palang magaling dun. Kasi yung mga Aquino, mga magnanakaw din yan. Anong kaibahan ng Marcos at Aquino? Pareha sila nagpahirap sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Ano pa? Pareho sila magnanakaw. Tapos.
Record, you are denying that the Vice President actually spoke to a hitman na in fact, ang sabi nga ni Atty. Lotoc, hindi siya nagsisinungaling. Sinasabi nyo, actually nagsinungaling siya at wala siyang kinausap na hitman. Yan pong sinasabi ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know what's the frame of mind of Atty. Lotoc, but that is our answer, Your Honor. That she did.
Huwag mo ipakain sa kanila yung answer ni Lotoc. Kung gusto mong kainin, kung sa tingin mo, lasang pagpag yung kainin mo, Ma'am Aquino.
Maraming salamat, Atty.
Aray ko ba magkano magsalita? Asakin mo tabangs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Judge Aquino. Senator Judge Zubiri is recognized. You have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Presiding Officer. Just want to go to the line of questioning continue the line of questioning of Senator Aquino to the prosecution, Attorney Vinluan. So there's
Defense,
not,
Your Honor.
yes, I'm sorry, defense, my apologies.
Grabe na kini-question nila yung defense. Pambihira. Ibang klase talagang, tapos gusto nyo, ayaw nyo kami maging bias. Gusto nyo magalit kami gabitin sana. Kayo, hindi nyo pa naririnig yung testimonya ng defense. O mga ebidensya ng defense, binabanatan nyo na, mga siraulo.
Attorney Vinluan, has been no in any instance that the Vice President had come out on TV or radio saying that, hindi, joke only, nagkamali ako, nagbabu. Kasi si Tatay Digong nung araw sinasabi
Huwag
niya.
ka makatatay, siraulo. Makatatay ka. Huwag mo kami lukuhin, makatatay. Baka magnanakaw ka ngayon. Baka Marcos, sabi mo makatatay.
Papatayin ko siya. Tapos mamaya, joke only yan. Nagloloko lang ako. Parang ganun. So at no particular point in time,
Sa ginawa ni Marcos Jr. kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, sa lahat ng kaalyado nila ngayong mga panahon na ito. Ano to, ewan ko lang.
has she issued a denial that she said?
Ikaw, Biggs, huwag ka makatatay-tatay ha. Sinusuka ka na ng mga kadistrito mo, kalugar mo. Tagasan nga kasi itong sintusin ko na to. Wala, tagasan to.
These are statements aside from what you submitted to this court as a blanket denial.
There is, Your Honor. And
Kasi, yung sinasabi ko, kahit anong explanation ng defense, hindi nyo na mapapaniwala yan si Bam Aquino, Risa Hontiveros, Tuta Soto, Big Zubiri. Wala na, finish na yan. Guilty si BP Sara sa mga yan. Ngayon, sila, ganito na yung line of questioning nila sa defense. Di man lamang nila matanong-tanong si Lotoc. O, ang prosecution, bakit ang daming typo? Hindi man nila natanong yan. Kasi hindi yun nakma sa naratibo nila na gusto nila tanggalin si BP Sara. Hindi ko alam anong deal nito. Ito si Biggs.
we just reserve our right to present that evidence at the proper time as well, Your Honor.
Okay, so there's a video or recording that was done maybe a month or during the period of time that she had mentioned this, that she was denying this. We'd like to see that as well.
Papakita nga, ebidensya, maghintay ka. Kayong dalawa ni Pagpag. Punta kayo doon sa ano, kaya na lang kayo doon.
That would weigh in heavily on our decision because kung ngayon lang po nagpalabas ang depensa ng denial, parang
Hindi na, i-guilty mo na. Hindi ko kailangan yung boto mo. Hindi ko kailangan yung boto mo para sa acquittal. Linawin ko ha, para kay Bama Aquino, Risa Hontiveros, Tuta Soto, Mitsubiri, hindi namin kailangan ng boto nyo para sa acquittal ni VP Sara. I-guilty nyo by all means. I-guilty nyo ang boto nyo kay VP Sara. Okay? Maigi nang malinaw tayo.
after the fact na kasi nagkaroon na po tayo ng impeachment trial. We'd like to see that if you have that kind of evidence.
We will provide, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Judge Zubiri. What is the pleasure of Senator Judge Alan Cayetano?
I'm not going to ask a question, just for clarification. I just put it on the record.
The gentleman may proceed in yes 2 minutes.
If you look at the articles of impeachment, Article 4, Respondent Vice President Sara Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution, high crimes, and betrayed public trust by contracting for the assassination by the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker of the House by making grave threats and actively inciting sedition against the public. To be fair to the prosecution, I think it was asked of them that merely threatening for you is already, I hope I'm representing it correct, is already impeachable,
Yes, sir.
either high crimes, grave threats, or by culpable violation. Okay, but there's a difference between saying that that mere statement is impeachable by alleging that she did in fact contract someone to kill. Because if you look at the next page, it is the position of the prosecution of the House of Representatives. The fact that respondent contracted an assassin no longer requires further proof, as it is already established under the matter of light of her own public admission. That's a conclusion of law. Because it is basic that if someone alleges that someone contracted assassin, you have to prove.
Your Honor.
Diba? So what I wanted to clarify, and to be fair to both sides, you can comment. As far as I'm concerned, ang understanding ko, the prosecution did not stop short by saying that by merely uttering that is impeachable. They went further to say that they are alleging that she did in fact contract an assassin. In fact, nowhere in her words assassin, in the words of the Vice President was assassin or contracted. Contracted means may kontrata. Sinabi niya lang may kinausap siya. And yung assassin came from, at least on these documents, from them. So I just want to clarify because baka yung manunod, bakit nga naman hindi kailangan i-prove nasabi in public? Those, what I wanted to clarify, those are two different things. Whether the threat as said is an impeachable offense, but if you're alleging that there was an actual assassin contracted, you have to prove that. As far as I'm concerned.
Can I reply to that, Your Honor?
No need to reply. Senator Judge Cayetano was not asking a question. He was merely making a manifestation for the record.
Hindi mahilig talagang makipagtalo si Ligutan at gusto niyang maging senador at talagang nag-grandstanding siya dyan sa lahat ng pagkakataon na pwede siya makapag-grandstanding. Normal na yan, normal na
Let's
yan.
move on, counsel. Counsel
Move
for the
on, move on.
respondent. If you're ready with your cross, you may proceed.
Attorney Lotoc, the NBI is an investigatory body, correct?
Yes, sir.
But unlike the DOJ, it is not a prosecutorial body, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, you have investigators and not prosecutors. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in relation to this case, what you did was only fact-finding investigation, correct?
Finding and recommendations.
And recommendation, not preliminary investigation.
Not preliminary.
Because that function is with the DOJ, correct?
Yes, sir.
And in the course of your fact-finding investigation, you subpoenaed witnesses, correct?
Yes, sir.
Conducted interviews,
Yes, sir.
gathered evidence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, thereafter, you transmitted the result of your fact-finding investigation to the DOJ, correct?
Our recommendations, sir. Yeah.
Okay. We learned from Agent Kalilong last time, just to clarify, that there were 2 transmittals, correct? The
Yes,
first
sir.
transmittal was on January 30, 2025, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the benefit of this court, there was a transmittal letter then, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can we flash that on the screen? For the benefit of our senators, that is page 7 of the Articles of Impeachment, Annex G9 or GGGG. All right. Now, if you look at the document, this was received by the DOJ also on the same day, so January 30, 2025, correct? Well, it is not clear, but it can be read. If I may be allowed to use a pointer, Your Honor, just to.
You may do so, counsel.
It's quite unclear, but actually, if you look at the actual document, it can be read as January 30, 2025. Do you confirm this?
I don't have the document, sir. Maybe.
Well, we have a hard copy, and I asked my co-counsel to show the document.
Co-counsel may approach.
30.
Hulaan ko. Typo na naman yan.
Yeah, hindi siya clear, Your Honor.
All right. Now, this was addressed to Prosecutor General Fadulyon,
Si Padulyon.
correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
And NBI's recommendation was for 1 count of inciting to sedition and 3 counts of grave threats. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, attached to this transmittal letter was your affidavit of investigation. I won't bother to read the body, but it says there that it was attached to that transmittal letter, correct? Because, of course, the transmittal letter won't be empty. It has to contain something, correct?
Your Honor, let the witness, my move that the witness be allowed to answer first before the counsel asks a follow-up
Kalman mo lang, abogado yan, abogado. Abogado yan, abogado. Ha, abogado!
question.
Witness will please answer.
I think yung copy ng affidavit is nasa DOJ na yung first
So there was an affidavit of investigation because Agent Calilong also confirmed this last time. So I just want a clarification from you. There was a first affidavit of investigation dated January 30,
Yes,
2025. All right. But we never saw this because it was never released, correct?
I think nasa DOJ.
Nasa with the DOJ.
For purposes of case build-up.
But didn't you keep a receiving copy for your office?
No, kasi meron na kaming copy sa computer.
So in other words, you have a copy of this January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation, correct?
Your Honor, I move that the
Ay, nako, nakapetrang karapatan ang ginagawa nitong si ano. Ligutan.
witness finish his answer first before the counsel.
Counsel for respondent, kindly wait for the witness to finish his answer.
We will comply, Your Honor. Thank you.
Well, personally, I believe na nandun sa DOJ yung copy, and then yung sinubmit sa amin is yung unang certification stating na kailangan yung i-comply itong sa
Alright.
requirements.
Okay. Now, there was also an investigation data form attached, correct?
I don't have the copy, Your Honor.
But if you know, if there is a investigation data form that was attached, correct? Okay. Now, very well. Now, the DOJ thereafter evaluated the case.
Part of the DC-15 requirement, Your Honor.
No, it's a yes, sir. It's answerable by yes or no.
No, the witness is in the process of answering.
Ay, kaninang ikaw ang nagpipresenta kay Lotoc. Kaya nila sinasabi si Atty. Vinluan ngayon. Ito talagang abogado. Ito talagang lab team na to ni Juda Sidre, pambira.
He's intelligent enough to answer the
Let
question.
the witness finish his answer.
Part of the requirement of the DC-15, series of 2024, if I'm not mistaken, the circular has directed the prosecutors to proactively engage in the investigation of crimes or in the criminal investigation. Kaya ho yung ginagawa namin nung nag-submit kami nung transmittal, ang purpose ho nun for evaluation ng ating prosecution, at the same time for case build-up. So pag nakita ho ng prosecutor na may kulang, part ho ng evaluation at case build-up process, nagbibigay ho sila ng recommendation ng NBI, may kulang kang ganito, hindi pa sa sufficient, i-comply nyo muna to. Part ho yun ng DC-15 requirements.
All right, clear. So in other words, the evaluation is to determine if the recommendation is sufficient or insufficient for the purpose of preliminary investigation, correct?
For purposes of case build-up, so that the transmittal or referral will be able to comply the requirements of preliminary investigation.
At any rate, preliminary investigation is the next step, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, after the evaluation and case
All right.
build-up.
Can you receive this evaluation or response from the DOJ? Am I right?
You mean the certification, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, the first
No,
certification.
if only you
Your
receive.
Honor, again. The witness is in the process of answering the question, and the counsel is excited to propound a follow-up question. Let the witness answer first.
Same ruling, same reminder. Witness, kindly proceed to answer.
Ang bagal kasi sumagot ni Calilong. Wala na silong Calilong dyan. Nabulgar na yung mga kaso niya. Ito, nabulgar na rin kaso niya. So, tingin natin, huli na rin ito. Hindi nalilitaw ito ulit dyan.
Again, sir?
Point size,
So you received a response from the DOJ?
Defense.
The certification
Sumigay lang tapos may points sa kagad yung defense. Palakpakan. Nasabi ko sa inyo.
dated February 5, 2025.
All right. Oh, no. That's not my question. But anyway, let me direct your attention to a certification issued by the DOJ through Senior Assistant State Prosecutor J.V. Lawrence B. Bandong and approved by Senior Assistant State Prosecutor Herbert Calvin P. Abugan, dated February 5. For the benefit of this honorable court and the Filipino people watching, this is Articles of Impeachments Annex G9 as well, pages 10 and 11. May we ask that the witness peruse this certification? Just a manifestation, Your Honor, Annex G9 is actually not numbered. So pages 10 and 11 was based on the PDF file or the soft copy, but the hard copies are not actually numbered.
Noted.
So, Mr. Witness, was this the response from DOJ following your January 30, 2025?
Yes, sir.
So this certification contained the DOJ's evaluation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And-
Part of the requirement of
Wait, again, the same,
Yes, Your
same. Your Honor. The witness still answering.
Mabagal kasi sabihin mo sa witness niyo. Bilisan niya.
Let the witness answer first before propounding the next question.
And the
Abogado naman yan. Kaya niya yan. O, kalmado ka lang. Ligutan.
NBI received this February 5 certification, correct?
Yung copy ko, Your Honor, hindi ko makita yung date.
Oh, I'll help you. There is a note received on the upper right that is unclear. Can we flash that on the screen as well? It is unclear, but it appears to have been received on February 5, 2025, correct? So more or less 6 days after your transmittal. Do you confirm this?
Your Honor, before the witness answers the question, I would like to
Yes,
commence
counsel.
my objection on the ground of relevance. May I explain, Your Honor, please? This witness testified that what they filed with the NBI, with the DOJ, is a February 10 affidavit investigation. And here comes the defense now, asking questions as to the first affidavit of investigations that the NBI submitted, which the DOJ asked them to correct and to provide additional information, which they complied with. And what is now at issue is the February 10 affidavit investigation. That's why I'm now objecting on the grounds of relevance. Your Honor, wait, let me finish. What's the point of digging into a prior affidavit?
Ganyan ka basta si ligutan. Pagka nagsasalita yung si Vinluan, sabat siya na sabat. Pero pagka siya na yung sasabatan, pag nagsasalita siya, ayaw niya. Napaka-agresibo pa niya. Diba? Minus point ka na nga, nakakabuisit ka, tapos add ako maraming points dito.
When what this witness testified to,
Alam mo,
when what this witness identified is a later affidavit of investigation that is now being considered by the DOJ, the question is simple: what's the relevance?
Objection is overruled. It goes into the credibility of the witnesses,
Sa mukha, in your face. Oh, points tayo.
not his ability to testify as to his investigative report. And witness is competent enough anyway. Witness may answer.
Abogado yan eh. Ito naman si prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mag-usap na lang kayo ni Juta si Dre.
No, Your Honor, we received that letter on 10 February 2025 based
Tsaka
on
wag mong masyadong ibibiyan. Yan si Lotoc, abogado yun.
the second letter submitted to Honorable Richard Anthony T. Fadulyon, signed by Judge Jaime B. Santiago. It states here that on 10 February 2025, this Bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025, where the evaluating prosecutors referred the case for case build-up, citing reasons thereof.
Then in that case, Your Honor, we have a problem because this is
Your Honor, objection.
I'm not yet- I'm not-
Objection.
Kindly let counsel finish.
Because like as I mentioned a while ago, Your Honor, this forms part of the
Points ulit sa defense. Sabat na sabat kasi ito si Ligutan.
records of this honorable court. This was submitted as page 10 to 11 of Annex G9. This is part of the court's record, and we also received this. These are not our documents.
That's why I'm objecting,
These are
Your
the
Honor.
prosecutions. I mean, the
Counsel for the prosecution,
documents.
kindly let him finish.
Oh,
These-
yan, di ba? Di ba nakita niyo yon si Ligutan? Ligutan nga po. Ano pangalan to? Ligutan. Pangalan nito abogado na to. Oh, di ba yung problema kay Ligutan? Pagka nagsasalita itong si Vinluan, sasabat siya. Pero pagka siya na nagsasalita, ayaw niya nagpapasabat. Pero siya sabat na sabat. Ganun ho kabastos yan si Ligutan na yan.
are not our documents, Your Honor. These are part of the records of the court. This came from them, and they attached this to the articles of impeachment. Your Honor, we have all the right to confront each and every document because that forms part of the charge against our client. Now, if Attorney Lotoc is saying, Your Honor, if I may just be allowed to
This is now
finish,
a manifestation,
that
Your Honor.
February, it was received on February 10. We just want to counter-manifest, Your Honor, that there is a received stamp here, says February 5.
Your Honor, this is not highly...
Counsel, the presiding officer already overruled the objection of counsel for the prosecutors. And
Overruled na nga, manahimik ka na, Ligutan. Punta mo si Juta si Dre, baby mo. Ikaw ba daddy o siya? Sino ba daddy at mami niya?
I thought you would end up with a question. Kindly proceed with your cross-examination.
So in other words, you deny that it was received on February 5, 2025 as seen here in this document that is part of the records of the Senate Impeachment Court.
Well, first, Your Honor, hindi ho ako yung nag-receive niyan. Then pangalawa, ang
Anong
nakapirma
ginagawa mo dyan?
ko rito ang dating director namin, Jaime B. Santiago, at ang sinasabi niya, on 10 February 2025, this Bureau received the certification dated 05 February 2025.
All right. Anyway, I'll move on to a new point. This certification noted 7 items, and we went through this the last time with Agent Calilong, so I won't delve on that. But basically, just to go through this very quickly, the first point says that there is no affidavit of the person, so no affidavit. The second point is, or the second note is the press briefing conducted on October 18, so no TSN and affidavit of the person taking the TSN. Number 3 is annexes I and K with marking, so no affidavit of recorder. And no TSN and affidavit. Number 4, Annex L did not indicate who made such TSN, so incomplete information. Number 5, the affidavit of Juan Patria Morales, so no USB. Number 6, only the minutes of the meeting with several persons, so no affidavit. But I'd like...
Oh, Your Honor, that's my objection now.
I'm just reading
Where's
it, Your
the
Honor.
question?
Wait for the question.
Kindly-
Okay, the question.
Wait for the question. Ito naman si Ligutan, sabat ka ng sabat. Na-overruled ka na nga. Hindi na cute. Hindi na cute. Noong una cute pa eh. Hindi na cute. Marami na nabubisit sa'yo, Brad.
The question. I'm just laying the basis, Your Honor. Now, I'd like to highlight note number 7. Please allow me to read that portion, or at least the latter portion thereof. It says there, in the instant complaint, only the NBI executed an affidavit, and there was no
Points tayo sa defense.
participation on the part of the
Nagalit eh, no?
offended parties. As it appears, NBI is not the offended party for the crime of grave threats. My question is this. So based on note number 7, according to the DOJ, the NBI is not the offended party, correct?
Based on number 7, NBI is not the offended party for the
Correct.
crime of grave threats.
Okay, very well.
Correct. Oh,
So
maliwanag ha. Hindi kayo offended party pero
offended parties, if at all, are President BBM, the First Lady, and the former Speaker, correct?
Yes, sir.
At any rate, all these, the 7 notes that I mentioned, are all deficiencies in the first affidavit of investigation, correct?
It's not deficiency, Your Honor, because the first affidavit that we've submitted is substantial in terms of
Substantial.
establishing the evidence required. This requirement is a matter of complying the required quantum of evidence required under DC-20. And if I may, sir, the purpose of submitting our referral to the Department of Justice is for preliminary investigation, which under the NPS rules, the new rules under the NPS, the law enforcement agency can submit a complaint affidavit, or in fact, submit a complaint before the DOJ for purposes of preliminary investigation. The requirement that the offended party should have should have the complaint affidavit is not an indispensable requirement insofar as the preliminary investigation is concerned. Insofar as the preliminary investigation is concerned.
Very well. Now, based on that answer, I'd just like to point your attention to the portion of this certification dated February 5, 2025, next to the box tick with an X. Kindly allow me to read if we can highlight that portion.
Yan. Naka-highlight
Okay.
ito ni Vinluan.
It says here, and you can read with me, insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation and
Insufficient. Aray mo.
must first be referred for case build-up. So in Filipino, this is my question, I'll do it in Filipino. So in other words, nakulangan yung DOJ, correct?
For purposes, Your Honor, of satisfying the elements, the required quantum of evidence, the DOJ required us to attach the affidavits and other documents like the TSN, sir.
Thank you. And the DOJ itself mentioned this, correct? Or said this, correct?
Based on the certification.
All right. In fact, let me direct your attention to the portion after, I quote, must first be referred for case build-up. Can we flash that also on the screen? And allow me to read. The complaint/referral does not contain all the necessary evidence to prove the essential elements of the crime. Therefore, it is recommended that the same be first referred for case build-up. Okay? Now, let me get this straight. I'll summarize first and then I'll ask the question. So, the subject incident happened on November 23, 2024, and the NBI conducted fact-finding investigation, as you said. You subpoenaed individuals, conducted interviews, gathered evidence, among others, as you said also, and the NBI spent over 2 months or until January 30, 2025 for this process. Is this a fair summation of what we had just discussed?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
You don't agree. And yet, when the NBI transmitted the case to the DOJ on January 30, 2025, the DOJ found it to be insufficient for the conduct of preliminary investigation.
No.
Objection, Your Honor. Continuing objection as to the this series of questions as to the prior
Kalma ka lang. Kanina yung defense, di sila nagsasalita. Tahimik sila sa mga kabalbalan mo eh. Wala kang objection kanina. Ikaw, object ka ng object. Hindi na cute.
affidavit investigation, which was corrected in a February 10, 2025. Continuing objection, Your Honor.
Continuing objection is noted. Same ruling by the court. Witness may answer.
Yes, Your Honor. The fact that the Department of Justice issued another
that would be enough. Yes,
certification.
Can you let the witness finish,
We will
counsel?
comply, Your Honor.
Are
The
you
fact
done,
that the
Mr.
Department of
Witness?
Justice issued another certification on February 14, 2025, and it states here that the referral is sufficient for conduct of preliminary investigation and that it contains all the necessary evidence to prove
Siguro nandun si Dembak sa Queen nandun. Nanonood si Dembak sa Queen.
the essential elements of the crime and should be docketed for preliminary
With the permission
investigation.
of the parties. Attorney Lotoc, that's the second certification.
Yes, po, Your Honor. The second certification.
Counsel for the response.
Yeah, we will go to that. In other words, based on this certification, the DOJ did not affirm the NBI's recommendation, correct?
No, part of the process of evaluation and case build-up, the DOJ require us to comply with the requirements na hinihingi nila gaya ng mag-attach kayo ng affidavit, mag-attach kayo ng TSN, pero wala akong sinabi ang DOJ doon na hindi substantial yung aming affidavit. Ang require lang ho nila, mag-attach kayo ng yung affidavit na na-record yung video at then yung TSN, sir.
Well, according to you, but we just...
Oh, no, Your
said it was
argumentative.
sufficient.
Objection, argumentative.
Argumentative, asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
Okay, that's interesting because there was a 2025 impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. If you know.
But again, Your Honor,
The date is important because there was also a February 5, an impeachment complaint filed against VP Sara also on February 5, 2025. Correct?
hindi ako familiar.
You're not familiar. That's okay. If I may refresh your memory, this was the fast-track 2025 impeachment complaint signed by the
Objection, Your
215
Honor.
representatives.
If a ground arises, a counsel can object. The term fast-tracked,
Oh, Your Honor.
you are labeling a process.
Ano ba nangyari doon sa unang impeachment? Di ba pinastrack? Ano nangyari? Oh. Tinodas ng Supreme Court. Unconstitutional. Kaya pinastrack eh.
made by House of Representatives as fast-tracked. Objection, Your Honor.
Counsel, move on and ask your question.
If you know, if this coincides with that impeachment complaint that was signed by the 215
Objection, Your Honor.
representatives.
There's no basis. This counsel,
If you
this
know.
witness, again, already said that he is not aware that on that day there was an impeachment complaint. There's no basis for that question.
Counsel, witness already answered. The counsel for prosecutor is correct. Witness already answered. He's not familiar with the filing of an impeachment complaint on that date.
At any rate, the November 23, 2024 video, correct?
Objection vague, Your Honor. What's the question? Referring to a video. Objection vague.
Kindly restate your question, counsel.
The complaint. The complaint that was filed against the Vice President also pertains to the November 23, 2024 video.
Objection.
If you know.
Again, vague. Complaint filed on that date.
Well, if he knows, he already answered. He doesn't. Who knows? He might all of a sudden recall. Do you know? Are you familiar with that, Mr. Attorney Lotoc?
I said, Your Honor, hindi ako familiar ng filing nung sa impeachment.
You're not familiar. Okay, I'll move on to a new point then.
Move on, counsel.
Now, did you rectify your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation?
January 30.
January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation. In short, the first affidavit of investigation.
We complied with the requirements of the Department of Justice.
All right. Did anybody ask you to rectify?
What do you mean? sir?
Microphone. Use the microphone.
What do you mean?
Did you receive any directive from anybody to rectify that affidavit of investigation?
Objection argumentative. The question was asked, he said we complied, and then he's now asking the
I'm
same
asking
question.
who? I'm asking if there is another person who directed you to satisfy the requirement.
Overruled,
Overruled.
witness will answer. Witness is an intelligent
Ito kasi si ano eh. Ito kasi si Ligutan, nakala niya bata yung abogado yan.
witness, aside from the fact that he's a lawyer.
Your Honor, when we received the certification dated 05 February 2025, ito ho yung kinumply namin.
All right. And you added affidavits executed by your agents, correct? To your revised affidavit of investigation, correct?
No, we didn't revise the affidavit of investigation. We just produced the affidavits of the fact that the video was recorded and there was TSN. Yun ho yung in-attach namin sa affidavit of investigation.
So you are denying that you produce a revised affidavit of investigation?
Well, when you say kasi revised affidavit, binago namin yung affidavit namin. Hindi ho namin binago, Your Honor, yung affidavit namin. Nag-require ho ang Department of Justice, kulang kayo ng affidavit as to the fact na na-record nyo yung video, kulang kayo doon sa affidavit kung sino nag-execute ng TSN, etc. But not the substance ng affidavit, Your Honor.
All right, I'll go back to the point later, but let me highlight one very important observation. Okay, your January 30, 2025 affidavit of investigation included a transmittal letter, as you said, as well as an investigation data form or IDF, correct?
Wala akong kopya dito, sir.
You don't have a copy. Okay. In fact, let's show that IDF. Page 12. This is page 12 of Annex G9 for the benefit of this honorable court as well. Okay. This is an investigation data form. You're very familiar with this document because you're an investigator, correct? Now, this was
Kindly wait for the witness to answer.
he
Are you
nodded his
familiar?
head.
Yeah, investigation data form, sir.
Okay.
Opo, Your Honor.
All right. So, in other words, the IDF serves like a cover letter for your affidavit of investigation, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the transmittal letter, along with this IDF, was received by the DOJ, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, sir.
All right. Now, my question is this. Was the investigation data form also received by the DOJ?
I don't have personal knowledge.
You don't have, but you were the one who caused the filing of the affidavit
No, I-
attached to this affidavit of investigation data
I
form,
instructed
correct?
the agent of the case, as well as the executive officer na pagkumpleto na, pwede niyo nang i-file yan sa Department of Justice for purposes of evaluation and case build-up if warranted, sir.
Okay. But here, upon perusal of this investigation data form, there is a stamp received in the upper left portion of this data investigation form. And I'd like to note, Your Honor,
Oh.
and for the benefit of the court, can I ask my co-counsel also to distribute among the senator judges a printed copy so that they can peruse this document better, as well as the witness, so he can confront. There is a stamp Department of Justice received, but it appears that it was initially stamped February 12, 2025, but there is a marking, a manual marking that converted it to January 30, and there is also a word there, JAN. So January 30 ang lumabas, no?
Okay.
My question to you is this. The stamp says Department of Justice, correct?
Well,
No,
wala akong hawak na document ko.
You can perceive it. And mind you, these are not our documents. These are part of Annex G9 of the Articles of Impeachment. So these are not our documents.
Your Honor, I would like to object now.
Yan ang problema. Partida dokumento na ho, galing na sa House of Representatives. Nagtanda-hindot-hindot na yun, nga ba sinasabi ko?
The witness already said that he is not aware as to the actual filing because he only asked his agent on case investigate. And then now the
Nako.
witness is now being propounded to question
May
as to
problema
what
tayo dito.
appears on the stamp. You're asked to the time or date of receipt by the DOJ. So the witness said he is not competent to answer that. Your Honor, please. Oh, wait, I'm not done. That's the first one. Your Honor, please. No need
Your
for the
Honor,
court
please.
to rule.
Your Honor, please. Your Honor.
But I am registering my continuing objection to the series of questions as to the prior
Honor,
affidavit
please.
of investigation. But in fact, this witness already said that he complied with all the requirements by the DOJ
Your
and
Honor,
came up
please.
with a February 10, 2025 affidavit investigation. So I move that it be noted, Your Honor, please. The
The
continuing
continuing
objection.
objection of counsel for the prosecutor is noted, but counsel, as pointed out by counsel for the respondent, this is part and parcel of the complaint
Yes.
that the panel of prosecutors filed before this court. If the witness knows, he may answer.
So the question is, the stamp says Department of Justice, correct? It's a very basic question.
Again, I don't know, Your Honor.
No, based on this document,
Argumentative, Your Honor.
the only question is, it says Department of Justice, correct?
As I've said, Your Honor, hindi ako nag-file, may inutusan ako.
Do you see it in the screen and do you see it in the hard copy?
Counsel asked and answered. Move on. That's
Okay.
the response of the witness.
So will you agree that considering that this was supposed to be received by the DOJ, it is only the DOJ that has the authority to change the date?
Again, you asked the DOJ, sir. Wala ako akong idea dyan.
All right.
Counsel for the prosecution, kindly avoid.
All right, but
side
this is
remarks.
not from the DOJ. This is your copy. This is a receiving copy. So when you receive back your receiving copy, you did not bother checking this portion?
Your Honor, hindi ako personally nag-receive niyan.
But this is your affidavit of investigation.
Objection argumentative, Your Honor. Ask and answer.
Asked and answered. Move on, counsel.
All right. My question to you now is this. The discrepancy is not 1 day or 2 days. The discrepancy is from Feb 12 to January 30. So it is a substantial discrepancy. My question to you is this. Who changed this
Objection.
date? If you know,
Your
if
Honor.
you know.
That's misleading, Your Honor. My goodness, that's misleading. This counsel
Gigil na gigil. Gigil na gigil si Ligitan.
is assuming that somebody changed what?
Hindi. Kita nyo naman ng mga kababayan, pinalitan. From naging 3, naging 0. Di ko alam, siguro nung pinafile na lang yung pitch nila, nagharap na sila ebidensya.
The council failed to elicit any answer from this witness, and now the council is conceiving that somebody changed that and confronting our witness with that misleading. This is the classic case of a misleading question.
Counsel-
You assume something that has yet to be established. That's not how we do it, with all due respect.
Council correspondent, I think you made your point and you gave a copy to the senator judges, and we see your point.
All right.
One.
But my more important observation is this.
Objection, Your Honor, please. You are supposed to ask questions.
Yes, I will go to the question. I will
Kalma ka lang, Ligutan. Kalma ka lang.
go to the
Kindly
question.
allow
Mapupunta tayo sa tanong.
council correspondent to finish his question. He may just still be laying the basis. You may proceed,
That's
council.
precisely what I'm doing, Your Honor. Can I direct everyone's attention to the date appearing at the bottom portion of this document?
Ayan. Bottom portion.
It says here,
Council, technically not everyone, just the witness.
Yes.
And let's see if the witness can answer your question.
it says here February 11, 2025. So in other words, it was and it says here subscribed before NBI agent Ricarte. In other words, the date of the document is February 11, but it was received on January 30, 2025 by the DOJ. Do you have any explanation for this? That's the
Objection, Your
question.
Honor, objection. This witness is incompetent to attest to that exactly because he said he is not aware of this series of facts. I know where the counsel for respondent is going. Unfortunately for him, his line of argument was already nipped in the bud when this witness said he is not aware of that. He should move on to other points.
Your Honor, the witness said that the investigation date, this investigation data form was attached to the original affidavit of investigation. And we want an explanation why there is a discrepancy on the date. The witness is a lawyer.
Exactly,
He has an
that's the point.
experience, Your Honor, in filing cases. We just want to know, Your Honor. We want to get to the bottom of this matter.
if-
Considering also, Your Honor, that this is about transparency.
Will the parties please settle down? If the witness knows, Attorney Lotoc, do you know? Can you explain the discrepancy, or are you personally aware of
Of course, hindi niya alam yung discrepancy na yan.
the discrepancy?
I cannot explain this, Your Honor. Unang-una, hindi ako nakapirma dito, hindi ako nag-receive. At wala akong idea dito sa...
But Attorney Lotoc, you see the point that the counsel for respondent is trying to make, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That the date of receipt was changed to 1/30, January 30, but it was subscribed to on February 11. Meaning, you see it, but you have no personal knowledge how that came about.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't
Move on,
have...
counsel.
So, doesn't this demonstrate that the document...
Ganyan matunog mo, Ligutan, pagka nagbabanding kayo nitong si Asidre, ganon.
Allow
tampered
counsel
with?
to finish.
Doesn't this demonstrate, if you know that this document was tampered with,
Objection, Your Honor, exactly. He's now arguing with our witness, Your Honor.
Sustained. Move on, counsel. Move on to your next topic, counsel.
Your Honor, but you agree, Attorney Lotoc, that the IDF is not a simple cover letter, correct?
Ask and answer, Your Honor.
Okay, in fact, it is an affidavit, correct? An IDF is an affidavit, correct?
An ID? I don't think so, Your Honor. It's not an affidavit, Your Honor.
The investigation data form.
It's not an affidavit.
So you don't agree. So in other words, this certification part here, and with the subscribed and sworn to, it is for you. This is not an affidavit.
Argumentative, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I just made my question more specific, Your Honor. There is a part here, subscribed and sworn to, and the witness is. I want to ask the witness if
Magaling
he.
tong si Atty. Vinluan. Mahusay. Palapakan natin tong si Atty. Vinluan. So, nanunuwag siya eh. Sinusuwag niya tong matandang best friend niya, ni
Kasi
Asidre.
this document was an affidavit despite this portion. What's the answer? Is it an affidavit or
Attorney
not?
Lotoc, is this sworn to? Is this document sworn to? The what's the title of the instrument again? Can you go up?
Investigation data form, Your Honor.
Is an investigation data form subscribed and sworn to by the person filing it? To your knowledge.
Yes, Your Honor. There is subscribed and sworn to before this 11th day of February and signed by the administrating officer.
Okay.
And as law practitioners, we know that when we file a case before the office of the city prosecutor, this actual page is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor.
Your Honor,
correct?
again.
If you know, you are a lawyer and you are a supervisor of your department. I'm just asking a basic question. As a law practitioner, as a lawyer, you know that this IDF is signed and subscribed before the public prosecutor when you file a case, correct?
If I may objection, Your Honor, continuing objection as to the relevance of this series of...
Kalma ka lang. Anong relevance nila?
Same ruling.
Noted.
Witness may answer.
Hayaan mo yung defense. Sila
Pinos.
Again, Your Honor, before the prosecutor?
Correct. In normal cases, the IDF is subscribed and sworn to before the public prosecutor, correct?
Well, in this case, Your Honor, it was administered by AD Assistant Director Glenn Ricarte, Your Honor.